A grey morning, an unfamiliar situation. As I search for new compositions, visibility suddenly fades, forcing me to rethink my approach. This calm lake in a misty valley, echoing with the calls of my floating companions, marking the starting point of an adventure that will take me over the mountains and all the way to the sea. I love capturing moments, and it's not just because of the beautiful location. I have two things with me that makes my life as a photographer easier. One is a special zoom lens that offers greater flexibility. The other is a camera with a sensor that allows me to capture every image in high resolution and with outstanding quality. This camera embodies a philosophy, a unique one in my opinion, one that I have only ever seen from Nikon. Hey everyone, I'm at Spitzingsee, in the village of the same name, Spitzingsee, in the south of Bavaria. I have the Nikon Z7 II and the Nikon Z24 120mm f4S with me. My test report on the sensational zoom lens, the 24 120mm f4, is already available on my YouTube channel, and I was able to make some surprising discoveries in the Media Arbor of Düsseldorf and this great nature reserve. Now I want to get a taste of the mountain air, but only a little bit, and let's see if we can take some nice, gentle fall impressions of this pre-alpine landscape here with this picturesque lake. This zoom lens will of course play a big role because of the unique focal length range, but also because of the high imaging performance, but not only, because this place here should be the prelude to my test report of the Nikon Z7 II. So, let's go, have fun! Once again no coffee, but where would I even get one? Yet, in front of such an atmospheric backdrop, you quickly forget your habits, especially as the fog begins to lift, revealing colors and shapes. Before continuing my exploration of the surroundings, I take another look at the camera I'm carrying, the Nikon Z7 II. For those of you already using a Z6, there's not much truly new to report about the Z7 II's body. This lake gives me the opportunity to start with something that I really appreciate about Nikon cameras. It's this philosophy of fairness, a principle that you will notice throughout this video. Nikon uses the same high quality body for both the Z7 and 6. Why reinvent something new when the existing body is already top class and even suitable for professional use? This reduces production costs, and for us as users, it eliminates surprises. After all Z-series cameras feel almost identical in hand. And it means you don't have to relearn the handling if you switch from a Z6 to a Z7. This makes the buying decision easier, as you don't have to deal with the frustration of artificial product segmentation. And since we are at such a beautiful location, let me praise the industrial design of this tool. The Z7 II doesn't try to stand out, it's designed for pure functionality. Even so, it still carries Nikon's signature design element, the red line on the grip. As I look through the viewfinder, I'm captivated by how the sun's rays slowly reach the valley. First illuminating the peak, then creeping down to the ground, gradually lifting the fog. It's a magical moment as the landscape panorama reveals itself. With its 45 megapixel sensor, the Z7 II captures an incredible amount of detail, allowing me to relive this moment with clarity. But I want to see what else awaits me in this area. The Z7 II is a tool, and if a camera is to be practical, a well thought out control layout is essential. In an era where hybrid cameras that are equally good at photography and video are becoming increasingly popular, an intuitive switch between the two modes is more important than ever. This is where the Nikon Z7 II excels. It features a photo-video mode switch that is easy to reach with your thumb, allowing you to quickly toggle between modes. Additionally, it saves settings separately for both photo and video modes. This matters because the camera's settings for photography and video are rarely the same. The joystick is also well placed, textured for good grip, and responsive. It's positioned slightly close to the thumb rest, but still allows quick autofocus point selection. I prefer using it over the multifunction selector, which I find harder to locate by touch. The video recording button is wisely placed near the shutter, allowing you to start filming conveniently with your index finger. The shutter button itself has just the right amount of resistance, firm, yet responsive. ISO and exposure compensation can be easily adjusted using the rear control dial. This dial is made of metal, clicks precisely, and has enough resistance to prevent accidental changes. If you want to toggle auto ISO, you can do so via the front dial, which is made of plastic but still feels solid. Whether for photography or video, all critical functions are within easy reach of your thumb and index finger, ensuring a smooth workflow even when using the viewfinder. Less frequently used functions are placed further away. The mode dial on the left shoulder has a bit of play but works perfectly fine. I personally don't need the lock button, but some of you might. If you value an intuitive ergonomic design, one that ensures a seamless workflow and one that doesn't require a learning curve when switching from a Z6, you will love the Z7 II for its consistently excellent Nikon handling. While the viewfinder with 0.5 inches and 3.69 million dots is up to modern standards, the 3.2-inch screen with 2.1 million dots stands out slightly. Not only is it physically larger than many competitors, but it also has higher resolution. And if you enjoy the way I blend technology with storytelling, feel free to leave a like. That's my daily inspiration to keep producing videos like this. The Z7 II's modern appeal is completed with full touchscreen functionality. There's also a top LCD display, which was a big deal when the Canon EOS R first launched, but I personally lost interest in it rather quickly. So I won't dwell on that. I will only briefly mention that the menu system is extensive and might seem complex to some, but thanks to its logical and color-coded structure, it's easy to learn and quick to navigate. A new morning. This time I venture higher up. This is when a camera's weight starts to matter. The Z7 II and 6 both weigh 705 grams. That makes the second generation about 30 grams heavier than the first, likely due to hardware changes such as dual XP6 processors for better autofocus and dual card slots instead of one. Both cameras also share the same dimensions, being about 2 mm deeper than the first generation. To put the Z7 II into perspective, I compared with the cameras I've personally used. For Canon users, the R6 weighs 680 grams. For Sony users, the A7 IV weighs 658 grams. So the Z7 II is slightly heavier, though we are only talking about 47 grams here. And in terms of dimensions, the Z7 II is the tallest. In width, it sits between the A7 IV and R6, and in depth, it's the slimmest. These numbers translate into real-world experience. The R6 feels the most substantial, as is common with many Canon cameras, except the RP. This also means it fits best in hand, with even your pinky comfortably resting on the grip. However, the body feels somewhat hollow and thin-walled. The A7 IV is the most compact, and with its deeper grip it now fits as well as the Z7 II. However, neither of these cameras offers enough room for the pinky. While the A7 IV feels more robust than the R6, it's still not as solid as the Z7 II. The Z7 II is compact enough while still being comfortable to hold. But where it truly stands out is in its build quality. It might not look extraordinary at first glance, but once you hold it you feel its dense, functional mass, making it seem like you could hammer nails with it. Or drop it, though I sincerely hope that's not an omen of what's to come. Everything is still. Frost blankets the landscape in a shimmering layer, until the first cautious rays of sunlight begin to wake it up. As mesmerizing as it is, I have to wait until visibility clears. Just in time, I watch as the light moves further into the valley, adding depth to the world. Weight and dimensions don't really matter. Modern cameras don't differ much in that regard, but for someone like me carrying two camera systems, millimeter differences can impact a purchase decision. Compared to other systems I've used before, the Z6 Z7 II is easier to pull out of my backpack without having to wrestle with it. While total gear weight matters most, every gram is noticeable when climbing a mountain. Sure, the final shot is rewarding, but every additional gram makes the heartbeat faster. Even with relatively light gear, I was exhausted, and I think you can see it. Maybe I should just exercise more, but still, I'm proud to have made it to the top. I cherish these moments, and to all the mountaineers out there, huge respect. I don't know about you, but I'm ready to head back down. At the Dutch coast in The Hague, I continue exploring the Z7 II. City, sea, family. For my autofocus tests, this means architecture, landscapes and twins. To be fair, these are not high-stress autofocus scenarios. The Z7 II is fast but not a sports camera. It shoots 14 frames per second, dropping to 10 frames per second in full quality mode. Still, that's almost as much as the Z6 II and A7 IV, but with 45 megapixel images while maintaining autofocus tracking. Of course, it can't match the R6's 20 frames per second, but then again the R6 only has 20 megapixel. With face, eye and animal detection, the Z7 II was well equipped at launch. However, newer cameras now offer much more advanced subject recognition. Autofocus performance is reliable and works well in challenging lighting conditions. But compared to today's AI-driven autofocus systems, it's a little slower, especially in video mode, where I sometimes wish for more traction. For video, the Z7 II records in 4K 60 frames and 120 frames in Full HD. However, it only offers 8-bit internal recording and 10-bit via HDMI, while many competitors now support 10-bit internal log recording. While specialized video cameras offer more, they often come with autofocus limitations, image crops or overheating issues. I experience none of these problems here. If you want to maximize filmmaking quality, you can record raw video with an external recorder, provided you pay for a firmware upgrade, not sure if that's true nowadays, or get the Z6 II movie kit. While raw video was once a premium feature, many cameras now offer it. That said, even 8-bit internal 4K video looks fantastic, sharp, well contrasted and with natural colors. Here I stand. I often talk about the flexibility of a zoom lens, yet I still ask myself, should I go down now? I wouldn't have to. After all, I have 120mm on the Z7 II, allowing me to zoom and crop further into the scene. But from here it's just not the same. I don't just want to photograph the scene, I want to experience it. It's the same with this camera. Reason is no longer the point. It's not about needing 45 megapixels, it's about the joy of experiencing. It's windy and cold, with salt and sand in the air, not an ideal place for delicate gear. While some brands might raise concerns about durability, I trust Nikon's long-standing experience in weather sealing. This is where a robust and weather-sealed body truly proves its worth. At a place like this, all stabilization reaches its limits. While Nikon focuses on 5-axis in-body stabilization with 5 stops in the Z7 II, some reports mention 7 stops, Sony and Canon can do more, and they also add software enhancements, making video much steadier. However, in terms of sharpness, the Z7 II's 45 megapixel sensor is impressive. Even with a zoom lens like the 24 to 120mm, images have razor sharp edges and finely drawn details. The lines of the steel Ferris wheel, the massive pillars of the pier where waves crash against them, the precise rendering makes the structures emerging from the wild sea almost tangible. Even at 300% zoom, sharpness remains ever present, showcasing the immense potential of the sensor. Diving into an image and discovering details is an absolute joy. Did you know many cameras use a low-pass filter? This one doesn't, which enhances clarity and detail. Whether it's huge prints, high-end product photography, or extensive cropping in landscape photography, the Nikon Z7 II still holds an incredible amount of potential. And just to reiterate, these shots weren't taken with a prime lens, but with a zoom lens, and despite the harsh windy conditions, we are still achieving stunning results. Impressive. Nikon uses Sony sensors, which are among the best in the industry. As a result, the dynamic range reaches up to 14.7 stops, an outstanding level, even higher than that of the Z8 or 9. Both photos and videos look clean and noise-free. I push the limits in this high contrast scenario, deliberately pulling down highlights, brightening shadows and successfully recovering details without introducing noticeable noise. The common belief is that more megapixels mean more noise, but with the Z7 II I see none of that, and this camera has plenty of megapixels. Still, noise simply isn't an issue. Nikon is known for natural colors, and these tones consistently deliver visual stunning results on my journey. A reliable white balance system is also essential, ensuring that colors are perfectly shown. Even in poor lighting conditions or under artificial light sources, the camera mostly gets it right. As a camera lens kit, the Nikon Z7 II has repeatedly proven to be a great deal. If you subtract the cost of the included lens, promotional offers have brought the body price to under 2,500 euros in some regions. However, today there are several alternatives offering similar or even better features at a comparable price, especially in autofocus and video capabilities. But if pure photo performance is your priority, the Z7 II still offers exceptional value, and within the Nikon Z7 system, it still delivers the best imaging performance, even compared to the flagships. So the Nikon Z7 II is a true professional camera, providing uncompromising photographic performance while still holding up well in video applications. A robust, weather-sealed body underscores its professional ambitions, making it a reliable tool even in harsh environments. A well-designed control layout enables fast and efficient workflows, while the combination of a good EVF and a large, high-resolution display ensures modern and intuitive user experience that remains highly capable even today. If you are satisfied with an autofocus system that is average by today's standards and a relatively good burst shooting speed, the Z7 II still offers a very compelling overall package. It meets professional demands with its robust and weather-sealed body without requiring you to invest in large and expensive flagship models. Some newer hybrid cameras now offer more advanced video features in this price range. But then again, when it comes to sharpness, dynamic range and ISO performance, the Z7 II remains among the best in class. Sound interesting? Then you will appreciate Nikon's philosophy of fairness, which I find incredibly appealing, because it allows us to make purchasing decisions with confidence, knowing that apart from the megapixels, there's no significant difference between the Z6 and Z7. At the end of this adventure, I feel grateful for climbing the mountain, experiencing the wild sea, the wind knocking my camera into the sand dancing on my skin like fire. Amidst all these breathtaking impressions, I felt truly free, because for me, the joy of experiencing is everything. What I have shared with you today is my journey, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. This is Through the Poetic Lens, and I hope to see you in the next video.